Okay, thank you for coming out. We're going to go ahead and get our message out. We have Voices of the Street represented here in the Chinatown community, as well as Latinos Unidos, here with Mr. Frank Alvarado and the family. We have a couple of speakers that will come before us, and we also have Mr. Ed Fry that's speaking on behalf of the homelessness and the responsibility from our county government. So we're going to call speakers one by one. Anyone that's out, Vanessa, if you can join us as soon as you're done, then we can go ahead and get our feedback. And once we're done here, then we're going to have a meeting with the mayor as well. We have asked for many answers countless times and have not received any to this day. So we need to get together and go in since he's expecting us already. Mr. Enrique Mendez Flores from Aguila will be our first speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone coming and meeting with us. We have some important issues to work on, in particular city, because we are very uncomfortable with how things are being worked out by leaders, and we are entitled to ask not only one question but many more. So keep your ears open, because we want to hear what they have to say to our great concerns. Good day.
We have a speaking for the senior center, the seniors in the city, as well as gentrification that's going on in Chinatown, and Voices of Motherhood as well. We have Pam Weston. Pam?
Education of our community is an urgent reality. Today's issues will impact our next 7 generations. I am here to ask for a call to action. Everyone gathered has helped us create the histories of change and transformation. Our decisions impact the children to elders in our community. Today, we are creating a living legacy, and by our presence, we are challenging all of Salinas to create change by helping us rise to the level of those people UC's current expectation. True leadership is created by those who know and are willing to do things differently. How we live is what we relate with and what we have come to know as our current reality. We today express that this is not our accepted norm. How we say and today how we live with current community issues and events can no longer be accepted as that. What we do with every family affects us from infancy to elderly. Dealing with the firehouse on East Salinas. They didn't have water. They have to share a building with Go Kids. They weren't treated as that they were anything. But today, after 3 months of going and advocating, they have a water dispenser. They're going to have their first casino trip. They are standing up and they know what side council means. On William Street, from the bread box where the families that are represented here, Frank Alvarado's family, Angel Ruiz's, you'll see us in Mi Pueblo, remembering anniversaries, because with my son in August, he died. And I wasn't given the respect, and people don't know that when you take a life, especially with mothers, sisters, daughters, we grieve. So it's not that we're against anybody. We want things to change. The leaders don't have titles. They do things differently. And we are a city. We are a community. And with the health department, with public health, with behavioral health, with environmental health, for the last 2 years, they were looking at cultural compass. It's changed now to cultural relevance. So starting this month, 7 of the different systems are changing things because they're making a health plan that deals with equity and quality of life. Where that you can make a difference is the hand. If you place it like a fist, if everyone here place your hand and make a fist, is the size of our community heartbeat. As fingers, your educators, health department, law enforcement, mayors. Put your hands separate with your fingers. When one points towards, 3 point back. When you see people get involved in City Hall, and they say that they want different impact. It's not what we speak, but it's how that we lead that makes the difference. No one is against Gunther, McMillan, or anyone that hasn't been seen here. The thing is that we're all community. We're a village. But especially for an African American named Bessie Taylor and her son Devontae, on this very steps when it was Black History Month, I talked about Devontae and all fathers, brothers, and sisters that are incarcerated. They went and they were displaced after 22 years of living in Marina. Because when we asked to be seen by the housing department, with the disability coordinator didn't meet with us. So from LA to San Francisco Bay, the Poor People magazine came here to recognize that as an elder, as a sister, as a daughter, as a community advocate from Chinatown, to hear that I have a relationship and Bessie Taylor is now homeless. The difference between a house and a home is how they treat each one of us, so that the little daughter on the bench doesn't have to go unnoticed. So from where we've been to who we are, we stand today after prayer to challenge those that are in leadership, to be able to invest and to respect and not disregard, especially the families that are in grief now, by changing the things that we do. For those people in the firehouse, we have asked for a place of their own so that they can be established and respected. That's their rightful legacy. For the babies, if we're going to protect and serve and lead, guide, and direct, we need role models, mentorship, and we need to change things, especially with Community Corrections Partnership that invest in building housing and developing entrepreneurship, just like everything else. So when we deal with cultural relevancy instead of comprehension, we don't talk about it, we do things as a family. Please, this is a call to action. Join in with us, not with your opinion, but what that you can give us. From every community, to every city, to every family, from LA to Bay, if we adopt a block, we can do things differently. Thank you very much.
¡Sí se puede!
¡Sí se puede!
We also stand in solidarity with our other brothers and sisters at City Hall, San Francisco, as they do this today and tomorrow. Oakland, San Jose, Vallejo, Bakersfield, Fresno, the Santa Cruz brothers and sisters, as well as here in Salinas. The next speaker I want to bring up, Mr. Ed Fry, has been a long-time advocate, longer than myself, before I was born. And he has been doing this with great energy and strength. So I want to present Mr. Ed Fry, attorney at law on many issues that are going on in these counties, San Benito, Santa Cruz, and Monterey counties.
Thank you, Jose. I was happy to see that closer. Okay. I was happy to see that a lot of folks out here praying for the welfare of our nation. Our nation needs all the prayers it can get because we have become a society of cruelty. We need to overcome that. And in addition to prayers, we need to invoke the spirit of citizenship in each one of us. We have to realize that we all have a role to play, and in particular with regard to people who don't have homes. That society of cruelty I'm talking about prohibits those folks from even sleeping. It's not legal to go to sleep unless you have a property right. That's a hell of a situation to be in. So what we're going to do about that, we're going to bring a lawsuit here against the County of Monterey on behalf of people who are being hassled just because they want to sleep. The Supreme Court of California 20 years ago, in a footnote in another case, indicated that it may well be the duty of every county to provide a place to sleep for those who don't have a place to sleep. That's that's going to be the basis of our lawsuit. Welfare and Institutions Code, section 17,000, says that each county has the duty to protect the health of the poor. Part of that protection has to be allowing them to sleep. Part of allowing them to sleep is providing a place where they can sleep. So that's our lawsuit. And I hope everyone will join with us and support us. And if you know of anyone who wants to be a plaintiff, let us know. Contact me or Eugene, Van, or Jose, or any number of others who are involved in this. And with regard to Jose's situation, it's just part of the local elite trying to bring him down, just because he represents the interests of the poor and the homeless and the oppressed. So we're fighting that in court too, in the criminal courts. And thanks very much for this opportunity to address you.
¡Sí se puede!
Sí se puede.
Voices of the Street, voces de las calles. Tenemos a Michael Houston haciendo abogación voluntaria todo el tiempo, el maestro de las escuelas del distrito escolar Alizar. So Michael Houston is going to speak up next with Voices of the Street. And there's also Brad and anybody else as well ready to stand with him as well.
Gracias. Ajá, entonces lo que tengo que decir es que no es correcto, que no hay donde vivir por la gente, que no hay servicios médicos, que no hay lo que le apoyan a sus hermanos. I don't have much to say, it's all obvious. You save money when you house people. When you don't house people, their problems don't get solved, they don't get back to work, they don't get their lives together. You end up in the emergency room, and we spend millions and millions of dollars by not building up our housing stock, by not having places for people to stay. So just as the taxpayers need to think about these solutions, and don't just tell me because there's no housing stock here. You've got to deal with it wherever you are. Thank you very much. Sí se puede.
Sí se puede.
We have Noel, who's also an artist and a Chinatown resident, longtime advocate, and has been present many times here at City Hall. So we'll be inviting Noel as well as Van Gresham and Eugene Bigay. Eugene can share his personal experiences having his personal property taken away, as well as Van can share other experiences that has happened in Chinatown.
Well, Johnson's come from Scotland, helped to create supply and civil service here. And we believe in God that there's nothing stopping giving compassion and creating a support system where we're under obeyance of the Supreme Court. I invite all who have already been into part of the citation process to let that go and join in forgiveness. For it's a historical moment under God that we will not any longer interrupt sleep, which is vital, without prejudice, without bias, allow this forgiveness and peace to reign in His name, Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Thank you, Noel. We have an artist here from Salinas, local talent, Liz. If you want to go ahead and share some information here with the rest of the group. And then we'll ask Mr. Frank Alvarado, who's also Latinos Unidos and Voices of Salinas, especially the Alisal East Salinas area. So we have two more speakers coming up, and then we'll close this off towards the end.
I know one of them.
I wanted to invite everybody to a visual that we're gonna have.
Noel,
Quería invitar a todos a una vigilia que vamos a tener para recordar al señor Osmar Hernández hace un año y todavía sin justicia. El 9 de mayo en el estacionamiento Mi Pueblo Food Center vamos a tener una vigilia a las 5 p.m. Se pueden traer velas, letreros y mucha raza. Almost a year ago, and it's still no justice. On May 9th, we're gonna have a visual at Mi Pueblo Food Center in the parking lot at 5 p.m. Bring candles, bring posters, bring people, bring the community, bring the 1%. We're also using a hashtag
As May 9th, we'll be recognizing Osman Hernandez, Carlos Mejia, Angel Ruiz, Frank Alvarado Jr., Jaime Garcia. We're going to continue until we get answers. Ferguson has already received answers. City manager resigned immediately. Chief of police resigned. The judges were the ones to resign, all because of the systemic bias. We need to continue the pressure, and it begins again. And we cannot let go. There's several violations in this city, in this county. Voting rights violations. Let me remind you about the 13,500 signatures that were presented to this city council not long ago. And immediately there was a dog and pony show that was put on, and a direction was given, or so-called direction, very vague, because it only benefits people who call it a direction, even when it's vague. It was took individuals to raise the decide on the constitutional rights that we have to pick up 13,500 signatures. That was immediately quashed through an action to the city. Taxpayer money spent here towards small business owner, here towards community members, regardless of their politics. If you agree or disagree, you extinguish the constitutional rights that we all have. Little by little, you start taking away our voice, our respect, our dignity. This is not the first time this has happened. It continues to happen, but civil rights violations as well. We just named 5 officer-involved shooting deaths that happened in 2014. That's not the first time that has happened here in the city. We have a long list of documentation since the 1970s, when LULAC was more active in fighting for a social change. That documentation still exists. Supposedly, Police Community Advisory Council existed, or was in its beginning. Till this day, we don't have the full representation. We look at history, no taxation without equal representation. Yet, the most vulnerable, the senior citizens, the poor, the homeless, the 70% of Latino and this 155,000 residents in the city continue to have their voices suppressed from the status quo. The $4 billion industry, those farm workers that are working out there haven't had a living wage increase since the 70s. Absurd. Yet everybody else here with 6 figures continue to ask for more and more and more. Disabled lives matter. Black lives matter. Brown lives matter. Veterans' lives matter. The youth lives matter. The 65% of those youth, we say that all our lives matter. But until we get true justice and we continue to seek answers, we will not let up. We have another speaker, Frank Alvarado. You can come from Latinos Unidos, Voces de las Familias.
On behalf of my son, they always carry right here by my heart, because he's the one give me strength to keep fighting for justice. And I won't stop until I die. For my son and for every injustice and abuse that the police does to our people. I won't stop until I find justice. And people gotta realize, that we got problems right here in Salinas. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, 5 times. And what happened? the other cities. One dead person. Citizens got together and go to justice. Right here, 5 citizens been abused from police brutality. And what we haven't done? Nothing. Always cover up. There's a sign right there that say, release. Stop covering the police department. We tell the mayor, you are here for the citizens, for the senior citizens, for the kids, not for the police department. He not longer works for the police department. He is a mayor. As far as I'm concerned, he haven't done any job for the citizen. We need a justice right here. And not too long ago, I found out, big rich artists right here, abused, and still abused us as slaves. Companies demanded people that we don't have a job for the people right here. Guess what? They got camps right here in Salinas, bring it from Mexico, and they work like slaves. They don't let it go out. They make them work 8, 12, 16 hours, and they don't have to say so. They get sick, and they don't get people to take care. What happened to the county? They abuse our people. They abuse our people. We are not on 1960s when they used to abuse the people. 2015 and they're still doing the same thing. Why? Because we don't do nothing. We gotta get together. We gotta fight for rights. We gotta fight for justice. Because if we don't fight for justice, they're always gonna stop stepping on us all the time. So we need to come out no matter what. Raining, shining, Sunday, Saturday, Monday. We got time. When we got together, we got to get together and speak for ourselves. Especially for those people that they don't have a home. They're homeless in the street. And what happened in the street? They abuse it. They arrest it. Instead of them say, I want to give you some place where they can take a hot shower. No, they just look at that and they don't care for them. The same thing for programs after school. Every single school supposed to have it. After school programs for our kids. They come out and say, well, the BAL, they do 100 kids. We got 10,000 kids. So what we need, every single school, not only BAL and 100 people. We need it for every single school. Why? Because we have to demand it for education. We got this sign right here. You gotta invest the little where you don't have no problems. The way you don't people send it to jail. The way you don't have it. Probation officers go after the kids. Parole officers go after the kids. And what they do? They don't offer them nothing. But there's about time that the city put some retraining centers. Not only come and say, well, we got one, never worked. It's about time that we demand it. And every time we come right here to the city hall, I see people coming and demanding something, and they say, your 2 minutes is up. You can say, and never let it talk. But let me tell you, we put those people right here, we can remove those people too. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Hi, I'm talking here for myself. The Salinas Police Department doesn't treat taxpayers, homeowners, mothers, fathers with respect. I have a special needs child. He has autism. I was told by one of the district's principals to contact him and ask for a mental health trained officer. 2 officers came to my home, 5 officers left. They were not for my son. They were for me. I am very intimidating and scary to them. My question is, how can they call themselves professional and well-trained when it comes to mental illness? We have mental illness with our children, with autism, special needs, our homeless, and sometimes us, regular folks. They are not compassionate. They have no sympathy. They have no business coming to a house and treating us without any dignity or respect. I pay their damn salaries. We pay their salaries. You treat my son with respect. And Gunter, your police chief should not be treating his customers shitty. I'm tired of the abuse of Latinos, my son, and everybody. The LGBT, the mental ill, the homeless, us parents that have lost children or brothers or sisters. We all strive for justice and equality and to be treated with respect. Without the farm workers, Salinas wouldn't be nothing. Nothing. The farmers get all the money, all the businesses, and all the land. They wouldn't have shit if they didn't have people working their farms, sacrificing their bodies in the sun, in the rain, getting back problems, pesticide problems. Without those people, this would not be the salad bowl, but the toilet bowl.
Yeah!
Now you need to change and see and recognize me and my family and my children and these beautiful people up here. Look at us. Do not ignore us. We will stand here today, maybe tomorrow, but we'll be back. Thank you.
Yeah. Sí se puede.
I have one time too. I love a lot of our government, sheriffs, police. I love a lot of that. And I want to say that I know many peace officers do not wish to be this disrespectful, just haven't had the training. So I urge us to provide the training with more compassion. And we're not against each other, we are all for. Right? Yeah.
Okay, so summarize what we're saying here. Don't shoot. I have a mental upset condition right now. I can't breathe. Don't break my neck. I can't walk. Don't kill me. Thank you.
Governor Brown has given money for all schools. We can do it different. It's called local control funding. When you deal with equity, you deal with everybody being part of the solution. For 8 years, we now can come with our students, with our parents, with our school districts, because as taxpayers, instead of statistics, we can make this a model and become stakeholders. Governor Brown says equality is not equal to equity. If you look at businesses, where's the diversity? City Hall's retreat said they want diversity and quality of life. Now, with what we're starting today, this is a call to act, to deal with caring what the person needs next to you, with women that bleed in the street, with no place to use a bathroom, from LA to the Bay. This is the first thing that we need to start, because the hand, when it is a fist, is as big as a heart. Let our heartbeat to the street be what we do after this. And for the reporter, Allison, and the public reporter, we thank you for being a living witness to the legacy that community cared for Angel Ruiz, Guzman, Mejio, Alvarado, and all the people on the east side. If we want to change things, we need to deal with the lighting. We need to deal with the cultural heritage, not of ag, but in how that we treat each other, how that we can identify multiculturalism, how that who we are and where we are is how that we live and treat each other. Thank you very much.
In closing, we're going to go ahead and deliver paper here to the mayor in regards to these attacks that continue to happen to our poor. This is a Poor People's Campaign movement. This is a social justice movement. And in this, we're going to ask immediately to create and to enact with the Homeless Bill of Rights. And that Homeless Bill of Rights spells out the right to move freely, rest, sleep, and pray, and be protected in public spaces without discrimination. Number two, the right to occupy a legally parked vehicle. Number three, the right to share food and eat in public. Continuing, right to legal counsel if being prosecuted. And the right to 24 access to hygiene facilities. Let us not forget the right to organize ourselves without intimidation, political bullying, and harassment, especially from the status quo, the old guard. This is just the beginning, but we're going to create more. You're going to hear more of this. This month of May is going to be solely dedicated to our brothers and sisters. We're not talking. This is going to be a month of action. So we will continue to be here until we get answers. Thank you for being here. Join us May 9th. May 9th will be with our brothers and sisters at Mi Pueblo, at the corner of North Sanborn and East Alisal. Let's not forget, at the end of this month, it's our anniversary. Well, last time we had 2,000 marches strong from Los Angeles up to the Bay Area. Come and join us. That's going to grow. That's going to be massive. That's going to be strong and effective. And it's going to bring this city down to its knees. We'll recognize that we need to do something different. Start recognizing the voices of the poor, the voices of our communities. No more voting rights violations. No more civil rights violations. Today, there's going to be more accountability. There's going to be transparency. And if anyone is here to shield behind a badge or shield behind anything to that effect, you will answer. You will also answer to us, our community. We're here to liberate. No more suppression. As of now, we're going to deliver that paper to our mayor here. Let them know where we stand. They continue to harass us, intimidate, and threaten us. Not anymore. Thank you for joining us. Continue joining our efforts and movement. Thank you. God bless you.
Sí se puede. Sí se puede.
I'll go and talk.
I was expecting to go too.
You guys should have just jumped up there.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but my legs are so bad I almost can't stand there.
That's the problem I have too. I can't stand long. Oh, that makes it hard.
Maybe I'll say a quick little something.
Oh, may as well. It's still recording. Get in there.
No lo hacen. ¿Qué quiere decir eso? ¿Que son hipócritas?
Perfect timing also. Last, obviously, public safety, of course, there with me as well. Hey, can I say something? Step by step.
I'm back in Chinatown, and I think they need hot water showers 24/7 with a labor force or labor ready down there to help the people who want to become productive citizens, give them the ability or the means to do so, with a workforce or labor ready down in Chinatown. And it would be nice for them to have a hot shower 24/7 so that they could make their work appointments and then continue on and fall into a job with the help of labor force or labor ready. Thank you. How's that?
Not bad.
Those are some needs.
Hey, yeah, well,
That's why I put it. But I made sense though. Right?
yeah. I've been there, man. I know.
So, what is the message today then? Are you, I mean, I heard you're advocating on behalf of homeless, mentally ill.
Let me give you this. This is actually the statewide press conference. We're in solidarity with Los Angeles, San Francisco, by April. Pretty much every city has had an officer of motion, president as well. So everything is in there for people moving.
That's what this is.
Yes.
More people.
Yes, and if you look at, yes, keep that. We're talking about everything that you can think of that has been on the agenda. Anti-poor laws.
Same thing, so it's a difference in support not violating the intrinsic right.
Give it back to them, make sure it's with the other ones so they
The dead body, but
That makes more sense. I was trying to figure out what the advocacy.
He's a teacher too, right?
What?
You Hotmail?
Yes, the Alice Hall and then the John.
she's more fair.
No, I did.
We did, and I hadn't done anything with it yet, because I wasn't sure.
Think about one phrase.
So then I retired, but I've been sorry the last 4 years, so I just do part-time.
Do you have his Facebook page or
Well, you look at Voices of the Street.
Voices of the Street?
Yeah, that'll do on Facebook, so that'll do it. And it's got, like, when we were in front of the city council last week, we put up about 11 of our got 10 or 11 of our people
Yeah,
talking.
that actually was really good. It definitely distracted me from talking about the public safety stuff. This is definitely
It's all, it's, yeah, and again, you know, we almost like, you don't want to tell everybody what to say, but we almost need speechwriters to get the package just for, but it's so much fun to just
when you do somewhat of a solidarity message and then personal experiences as well. That's where.
You guys ready? We're gonna deliver. Go in? Yeah, let's go deliver the homeless bill of rights. Yeah. No, Wes is gonna have the camera follow us as well. We're gonna go deliver some paperwork to them and ask some questions if.
But is he waiting for you?
Yeah, he should be. He should know.
You told him that you were coming?
Did you bring any papers?
So we're going in now?
Don't worry about it.
Okay, let's go in.
Wes, carry this to the.
I'll walk in. Yeah.
Okay, well you just gotta be real close to it, almost kissing it when you're talking to it.
Did you catch the one at the federal building? Around on the corner there during Stop Fast Traffic.
No.
Tracy and the unions were out there for that one. So we had it exactly. It was right there now. Just a minute. It's, you know, I thought we'd moved, but it was them. You know, so we could hook up with unions, get the we'll see. You know, I mean, Alliance building, how to retain liberty and justice and equality. How to get that balance right. You know, so.
Somebody needs to be having that transparency and accountability. You know, it's the same.
Well, I was nice. I've seen European, you know, democratic centralism. It's usually a cover for, you know, the Central Committee, you know, faking election results and shit. It's like, or, you know, and if, hey, you know, it's good and bad.
And Frank's family, and so, able to speak and cry and, you know, I mean,
We're having to find to the point that we can
it's just that, you know, and even when I came here, how they saw me when I first talked to last week,
Well, and then
I told them I can speak Greek because I'm
overshot that made it crazy. You might have more impact, said the cynical guy.
some explosions.
and we don't get over it.
That's not good.
Yeah.
If you're standing there
Put it
and,
down.
and your
We don't walk
clothes
over
are
it.
on fire,
We don't walk through it. We don't get over it. We walk
Hunger
through it.
Games, Hunger Games, better chance.
That's
Might get more might get more shares. You never know.
my sister here. That's what we have to do. We don't want to
Till
do that,
everybody's
but we
got,
understand
or actually, you know, cute cats with political messages.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Really? I did a story right
We're going to be
after
as loud as possible going through here.
last year about your brother-in-law.
Some of us will. Some of us I travel on Saturday. I'm working on a theology paper with my darling son today.
The young lady is a reporter from where? Do you know?
California.
Oh, is that Allison?
Kind of adopted them.
I'm just guessing. I know, I have to. How many papers we got? Who was it, Sarah? Well, it's a funny thing, you know. It's like open mic, you know. I like a few sets, and it may get better, but I kind of got the gist of what's going down. So thank you very much. I'll be slipping off into the night.
Oh, but there's a part two.
There's always a part two, and it's, you know, you're gonna miss the best one. That's something really good. That county come. I was at open mic over at the Boulevard last night, and it was turnout was miserable. But the guitar players, first the guy gets up and does his country blues, great player Alan. Then this kid, I mean, it's, you know, it's like a 30-year-old, gets up and he's out at the Berkeley Institute of Music Institute, and he's doing Bach. So then Alan goes back up and does his. So suddenly, you know, it's like we're going instead of the usual. Let's see how far we can slide into alcoholic bad music to like, you know, they're pushing each other up. And it was a nice. So it's like a great night for free music and a rather cold patio, but not begin. Springtime in Monterey.
So you spend most of your
I
time.
live in Monterey.
Oh, you live in Monterey. I thought you spent your time over there in China.
No, I come in.
But you're working with it.
I'm trying to, and I'm a consulting, so I'm not their publisher, and the whole effort is empower them to do stuff, show them instead of, I didn't do it.
Because she feels safe with me, because of my faith. Otherwise, who wants to get up and who wants to talk to anybody, especially that they people look like that. But as sisters, mothers, daughters, and community,
So what
then
happened?
I'm breaking.
But it was kind of a fact.
So that's
part
why.
that's illegal.
You want to ask me about my son's
To
death?
throw them
I haven't
off
even dealt with that.
no place else to go.
And that they have to deal
That's
with this.
endangerment.
I mean,
How do
you
you?
can't, like I said,
This is
I
very
know
legal
you're breaking the
now,
silence with us.
but you're
that-
making it
that
worse.
We on the
Is
inside
you're gonna have
from
more people. The
redirecting
state
the
of
youth
Utah
over to the Red Rocks
provides
to
housing.
marching down the street. It's a spirit.
It's cheaper than having these cats in
Police are safer. The buildings are safe, but we aren't safe inside of ourselves. It's hard to get up.
So that's circulation. It's all
Senior, and this is Frank Alvarado, Dad, you know, we know each other now. So what are we doing?
And it's
We're
killing these guys
grieving,
off.
but we're
And the
saying,
whole
you
thing
know,
is so
man,
obscene, you know.
this is Frank, I can say his name. With every breath I have, my death, I'm going to say
They won't
Frank's
fix
name. I'm going to say
anything.
Angel's name. I'm going to
It's
say
just so
Manuel's name. I'm going to say Usman's name. Because their families are left that's what you can say.
You're right, you built the country.
With our trees.
The best medicine in the world. Yeah, so how come it doesn't show the bottom end?
Yeah. But then the whole first year will be
Education and then education is the answer. These crazy Marin ladies, getting indoctrinated will give their kids autism. I don't know
But
what
from
being
LA,
autism, but they've
from LA to
demonstrated
the Bay,
scientifically.
this is
It wasn't
happening.
inoculations. That was a phone.
Well, you can call it, you can write it that way, LA to the Bay,
These are
to
not
deal
hillbillies.
with, is this
Who
only,
never
is
got
this rich?
These are university
This
educated,
rich people's
Pilates, high-income people who, feel their constitutional right is to pass
Yeah,
smallpox
because
and
from a
malaria.
poor so
to the
we
kids
can
sitting
know
next to them, kids that have not
from the poor to the indigenous, the children, everything. So that people can
free
open up
society,
their
it's
hearts
how
and
it's
their lives and question,
the
is this justice?
in the world. You know, and he's talking about, he got great chances as a kid growing up
LA,
very poor in
today,
Maine.
they're
But
doing
the
this today and tomorrow. Police incarceration, basically the dealing with trauma. It's trauma and it's making it call to action.
proportions
Do
deteriorate.
it
Healed went bankrupt.
Right down here in Gunter,
Kids in the middle of nowhere. It had another name too.
it was a prayer. It was hear my cry. So if he hears my cry, and we stood in the circle.
And they just went bankrupt. 17,000 people. But not healed was in it as well. Healed was in it. They own it.
Now it's
That's a big profit. They've been lying. They've been saying, you can get a job. They lied about their stats like crazy. So the VA busted them first. And the Department of Education led them. There was nothing, because there was a night, they had Jackie Spears from I think San Francisco, senator or whatever.
I would have the notebook somewhere, but are you more interested in this?
About free.
And
it's not going to go
like, she's like, she's like, I'm working hard. I'm actually, my last interview is next Friday. So I have a short time now, 2 years actually. But let me take down an email address for you and I can email you the story I wrote in the aftermath.
Oh, social engineering. You socially engineered through the tax program how to make the 1%.
I won't give it out to you. You do this a lot?
So they say that 30 people own the equivalent of the populations of India and Africa. Maybe it was 300, but it was like 30 people. And why would we know that? A CEO was making 45
I got you. So you're not blood related, you're marriage related. Yeah, I did a few stories. There was one big story I did when I talked to his employer and I talked to
Let's go faster. I've got to go right about that.
After I get back to the office.
Sounds exciting.
I like the stories.
And we're going to say that I was something that I put on my own. So now as a leader, we want to go forward with you. So can we meet with you as a board, right?
Oh, I had a killer half. Lost it.
Oh, was it that black one that was on there?
Yeah, we didn't deliver the big
I don't know anymore.
It depends on whether that talk back.
Maybe it just blew on.
No.
You already have my phone number. It's a lot of times.
Vi el programa con Valenzuela y le dan el 25% de descuento. Una gratitud de parte nuestra y de parte del Chiloco por vernos cada sábado.
I'll give it to somebody else.
So I'm on high.
You don't need that. That's not
So you can use the megaphone there or no?
So whatever, so you expect it.
What are we supposed to say? Drama transfer.
Give me a second, I'm going to check my inbox. Actually, you guys can come in. Let me just get my inbox.
Okay, Beth.
So now that we prayed, now we're going to ask them to act with us, right?
Okay. Let's go. Mayor's office.
Yeah, so that's had
I was just reading about this miracle in which in 1937 Saint in Italy, this girl got lost in the crowd celebrating something, and then he heard her confession, then he touched her head, she could see, and she didn't even have pupils before, but after she did.
Yeah.
So you can see with vision, but I'm reading about miracles now.
You're looking at one.
I'm reading Catholic versus Protestant theology with my son. Her term paper that
I used to be a resident in Chinatown. Oh, now I'm about. Yeah, Mayor's not here. Ray's getting ready to go to a meeting.
Can we see President Obama?
Not here.
President Obama. Well, tell her to come out.
I haven't seen him.
Well, could you stand up and smile and pretend I can do it for them, please? So we can go home.
We're going to deliver our paper. Just
Okay.
so we can, the community members and actually the parent want to deliver the copy. It's a homeless bill of rights.
Okay.
Yeah, there
We
we go.
have another copy here as well.
Okay.
This is the same one.
Yeah, basically to work towards change. So
Okay.
he just prayed with us, and with vision, we can change things. And everybody here has been impacted. So if we start with the homeless, and he wants to sit down and deal with an action like what the retreat is, then that we want him to get to know everybody who's involved here. Instead of just looking like someone just talking for 3 minutes,
Yeah.
to know the hearts and the life and the experience. Because we went out there and, you know, there's a lot of things that he doesn't know about.
Okay.
And he hasn't reached into them. So since he prayed that he wanted it to be different,
Okay.
that's what we want him to do. Is, you know, from where he's been to who he is, to look at it through the eyes of his community.
Okay. So this, you want this to go to the mayor and city manager?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah,
okay.
and let him know that behind it, there's a lot of community. And
Judas
that
coming out.
I mean, we're going to go out there to talk to people that they're in trauma. But after that, it's whatever vision he has for the community to work on things, really, literally, that's what that we'd like to work towards.
Okay. Is there a number somewhere that you want him to contact you or?
Well, on behalf, Jose, who, the mayor,
Yeah, I guess he's back in the meeting.
would he meet with us after?
He has another meeting after that.
Well, if you could tell him that he just prayed with us, so if he wants it to be different, that we're here. And we believe that, okay, that would be great.
So do you wanna give me some contact information or who should he contact?
If it's a meeting where we could actually accomplish something,
Okay.
then you can put mine.
Okay, so you wanna write down your information and that way,
Deliver the voices of the street.
Yeah, because in order to change it, we have to have a common dialogue.
yes. What's your tip? Oh. Yeah, Matt has it. Matt, advocacy? Yeah, but you need to.
In fact, well, I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
You want to come over? Whenever. So,
And should I put like, you know, like a retreat plan, diversity, quality, like what I say, or to talk, to strategize?
Yeah.
I can turn it off if you don't want it.
please.
Okay.
But also, you still come up with a lot of injustices. Sometimes
I don't know exactly what for you is out of play, but that's what's
This has a tendency to overheat.
exactly. So,
That's no fun. It's a flip, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the first versions.
No, actually, this is another generation. This has 2 hours instead of the 1 hour.
Okay.
And it was given to me to use.
Nice. Even better.
Yes.
I wouldn't say no to 3.
So let's see if it'll.
Tell him that everybody came, and then because he knows me, then he could call me, and then we could see when.
And then you would like, if you can set up a meeting.
Sometimes it's real hard to shut it down.
But
And there's been a couple of times it's corrupted the files.
and then that way, like, and like in here, this is from the. In here, this like, my son died, he was homeless, and so it's still the impact of all their life. And then some of the family members are the shot, and trying to deal with their voice and the impact, and like actually have that acknowledgement. That's the first thing.
Oh, no, so I'll make sure that I ensure that both of them, and like I said, today.
Staff like Matt, myself, or whoever, we have to. But I'm referring to, I know that.
Whoever. Yeah. And this is Enriquez. Your name again? And Jose. This is Yadi. This is Isabella. This is Angelica. This is Josie. These are from the streets. This is Frank Alvarado. James. This is Van and Eugene from the Chinatown, and that's Allison from the California.
Okay. Okay. So as soon as I set that meeting, I'll give you a call and let you know.
That when that we could actually sit down with him and talk about the impact and the issues and what that you feel and how you've been affected.
Okay.
Hey, Maya. Okay, what that we wanted first is that you see come. All the different people here are like from your community. So I put my contact number for when you have time to set up a meeting with Ray Corpus, and so that they can share their issues and what has happened with each one of them individually, and then we could create strategies so that we do things professionally and respectfully towards policy change, system change. Because with the retreat for the city hall that we went on the weekend, it dealt with quality of life, it dealt with diversity, and since people don't know you personally, they don't know your viewpoint, and everybody doesn't know. So what I'm here with them for is to deal with the equity, to follow through with what your city hall meeting was about community stakeholders, to deal with things like Firehouse, that the elders didn't have water, that they didn't have a building, to talk about where we are and where we're going, because especially dealing with the grief of loss of life, like I said at the city hall, my son died and I have to do things differently. Last year with the women, we redirected the youth from throwing bottles into the building, and 600 of your community marched. But even if they're yelling or screaming, they're not against you or the police officer. They just want leadership, and they want the feelings to be done differently. So why that we came here after being up there and praying with you is so that your leadership is not in your titles, but it's in who you are and what you do with the voices of your taxpayers. So why I'm here with them, not him, but us, is so that we can create a process that deals with people's pain, that deals with no showers, that deals with, because I'm in Chinatown now with Jill Allen, and since I know them and they're here, they believe in something greater than themselves, but everybody's in pain. And me being a taxpayer and me retiring out of the prison, I know what that use of force policy is supposed to be. So in breaking the silence and being able to say that, teachers need to do things different with disability and dealing with all of that, it's so that you have time to be able to hear like a leader and to be able to work with the people so that from the board of supervisors to the taxpayers that we can do it differently, and this can be the beginning of change. That's why I'm here, and for the homeless bill of rights, from the Bay to LA, there's, like you said, diversity. There's no black leadership. There are basically 7 different systems. Health department, public health and all that are now going to have a plan that works with the federal and state standard. Breaking the silence. As a past peace officer, we protect and we serve. But the service has to be in a language of your people. Other than that, all you're going to do is have a personality. And you've done many things in a good way. But with the people who hurt, with Frank Alvarado, family, they're not the ones that the police shot. They're the ones that have to exist here. And so I'm asking you on behalf of Jose and everyone else, not to be as strangers, but to work towards change with leadership so we can deal with impact. When you can set up leadership, just like with the equity, the racial equity, and look at from where we are to what each, like Josie wants, and Van wants, and Allison wants, that we all do our part, our portion towards changing this. So in the next 2 years, when the Department of Justice comes, we can show that excessive deadly force won't be used again. We have cameras for transparency, but how we change things when we come into your office, it should be through relationship. It should be that Mayor Gunther did something historic. He has a legacy, not a history of turning the ear. I mean, the Asians are your sisters, but what about everybody else that's diverse? This is your opportunity to build a family and a relationship with especially those people who deal with the fields, because they're tired and they're sad and they're frustrated. And for our next generation, the legacy you can have as an elder is to leave something that they can carry forward. That's what I want.
So, Mayor Pamela mentioned some other issues here. I don't know if you want to, I know you have a busy day, we may want to schedule a future meeting.
Schedule a future meeting.
Well, that's just Pamela, but I think we have Frank and a couple other people before we leave. We can say that. And then I was asking Jim as well that some certificates that I asked for Patricia, simple recognitions for District 1 residents, haven't been printed out because you gave the direction not to.
What certificates are you talking about?
Yeah, actually, you and I were talking about your stipend. We weren't talking about
Well, that was.
I don't know anything about the certificates, but I will check. You and I'll talk about
Well,
that.
they cited the section of rules of decorum saying that the mayor has the sole authority to approve commendations, recognitions, certificates, and so forth. So that was the response I got through email.
Okay.
So are you aware of that?
I'm aware that there was somebody, you were giving one to somebody that has a business that doesn't feel it appropriate to have a business license. It's involved in a suit against it. You're well aware of that, I'm sure, from
No, I
what I
did not know
understand.
that, but
So
you are
we'll
aware.
talk about that one, yes, sir.
So that's the denial of one, which I did not know, but there's 3 other names.
I don't even know who the names are.
We'll have to review them. I don't think that's,
Right, and the other one was the stipend. I need to check the stipend right now. The city, I want to see if they accidentally misplaced my stipend. I was asking Jim about that, and it seems like the city is intentionally withholding that as well. And this is what I use to help out grassroots groups, their waters, signs, gas for rides, any stuff that they need. I use that, just like you would hopefully use it to support other groups out there as well. So that is done intentionally, so there is withholding of the stipend.
and then you and I reviewed the 4 items that are out of play. I mean, it's.
Right, I was asking him and Jim.
Well, out of respect, sir, you can go into the city computer and take the ethics training, which is required by state law. I know you think that's just a suggestion. It's online. You can do that. You can fill out your 700 form and your 460 form, and then you'll be in total compliance, and that won't be an issue.
So you're fully aware that
I'm aware that they held your check, yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now, speaking of ethics, you want me to take that training? Is that what you're, because the city has.
required.
Well, I was asking.
It's required by the state,
The
yes, sir.
city, in no way, shape, or form is a replacement or even speaks on behalf of the state. So if it's a state issue, then I can deal with the state authorities. But if you're acting in behalf of the state.
That's a requirement for every council member to take ethics training. We
So that-
require certain members that are managers to take the ethics training, and I think you're aware of that. You and I both went to the same class in Sacramento where they required us to take it, and you took it then. And they tell you that every 2 years you're required by state law to take it, and you're required as part of your city council duties to take it.
So once that's
I'm not
done,
gonna- I'm
once
not-
that's done, then we're in compliance?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. And that's
Yes,
what I
sir.
wanted to
I have no desire to, I don't have your check, but I'm in no desire to keep your money. I would much rather you have it.
I'd rather know what's the background and the purpose behind that, because I don't like these discrete type of actions.
I have.
In the last one, in regards to ethics, I think it was the county supervisor, Fernando Alberto, that just left right now. You're fully aware of that attempted homicide and stuff. You were the lead detective on that.
Yes, I was.
Why did the wrong person go to prison? For that, under the watch.
Well, I think the right person went to prison at the time. I understand you were a witness and probably didn't provide information at that time, is what I've been told by someone recently, and I don't know whether that's true or not. I would hope a man of any ethical behavior wouldn't allow the wrong person to go to prison and wait all these years to make such accusations.
Well, I'm glad you use your police resources to look into stuff like that, but you put the wrong person in prison. And I hope you can correct that with these ethics training violations. Just like we did the phone calls to Mr. Armenta and watched.
This is it's a public place. You're public officials, and this is public business.
I didn't call Mr. Armenta. Mr. Armenta called and said he didn't want us to do a search warrant on his house. And he didn't call me, he called the chief of police, and we had already done that. And I believe we still have an evidence. The butcher block and the knife with all the other knives is still in evidence, and it was involved in the big civil suit. I don't know whether you testified at the civil suit or what happened there either.
Good. So we can bring that to the light when you're ready to go.
Whenever you're ready.
But you're fully aware of that situation.
I remember the case,
And you
yes.
know the wrong person went to prison.
No, I don't believe that.
I think you know now.
Well, that's your opinion, and maybe you'd like to give a statement now. We could arrange for you to go to the police department and give a statement as
Is
to
the
what
same
happened.
department that you're talking about with corruption? The one that staked out my house with 2 commanders, with your full awareness?
I think the conversation's.
We're detracting. Let's get back to
Today,
why we're here.
we asked to form a meeting with him. What is the type of thing that, when we have the meeting, that you want him to be, look at to change here?
We have a first time for him, for the first time for him to sit down and discuss the way he can listen to us, what we got to say. Because we're getting tired to carry signs and ask for justice, and we don't get no results. We invited him to go to Harnell to talk with us, and the answer was he was out of town when he was here.
So, what?
We need it.
We're committed to making a time that both parties know, and the mayor, I know, is committed to talking.
Okay.
Absolutely.
To create an open dialogue and a forum where that you can be acknowledged and that he can hear what that you want to change, right?
And we'll work with Pamela to get something scheduled. Can we do that?
Yes.
Okay.
It would be really nice for you to set up a schedule, like one day out of the month to meet with the public and and become part of the community and hear us out and give Chinatown hot water showers and a labor force and labor ready so that they could become productive citizens of the community. Help us. You got the power. We don't. You got the power.
We're working on that.
All right, so
Unfortunately,
join
I
us
wish
and
I
help
had the
us.
power.
Let's have
I've
some
been working
fun.
on
Let's
2
do
buildings
this.
down there, and I can tell you
Come
right
on,
now,
you guys, let's do
I've never
this.
run into so much red tape in my whole life.
You know, sir?
Almost 50 years old, and Chinatown's been there forever.
So,
You know,
Darn.
how are you
When I
working on it?
started, well, we've got 2 buildings we're working on. We're getting restrooms put in. They've been working on them actively. We're trying to get the restrooms open at the one at the dead end of the street, and we were working with Jill Allen, who was here the other day. Her and I met. We were trying to figure out how we can figure out who's going to be the provider of services in those buildings. I know that we've had some people come in and say they want it, and when they offered it to them, they walked away because they didn't want that responsibility. And that's why I find it funny when people come to the council and talk, and I'm thinking, it's just one of the same people that didn't want the responsibility. So we are
Well,
currently
maybe
working.
that's a good thing about the meeting, so that way you can educate me and that kind of stuff.
Be my pleasure.
Okay, we're gonna work through Pamela then to
All right,
schedule.
Pamela, we'll schedule.
We actually talked about something
Once
there,
a month, maybe?
and we actually
We'll work
agreed to it
towards
up there
those
that you would
Maybe
have a
twice,
meeting in
whatever
the
we
Alsa
need.
district. So we scheduled a meeting in the Alsa district when we first
I
got
think,
sworn in.
I think we will have a meeting here to start for the people from Chinatown, rather than them have to travel all across town.
This is not in regards to just one second.
Yes.
I actually asked for a separate meeting in Chinatown.
Well, we had a meeting in the San Jose, and out of, not to be disrespectful to you,
and you were notified about it, and you didn't show up. And I found that rather disheartening.
I said the city council.
That was a city council meeting. That was a posted, agendized city council meeting, and you just didn't show up.
Mayor, you know exactly what a meeting is. You know, it's a city meeting in the Allentown district, addressing issues that pertain to Allentown. We have water issues, we have distrust between the police, which you know of, and the community. We have major issues going on with Danny as well, major issues with housing. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. We need to set up a meeting in the Allentown where you have more than 50% of the residents on one side.
Well, there's been some very interesting, I know you've been notified of the housing.
Just so I can reach out. Where you can reach me?
Sam Farr
Yeah,
put on
just so I
today.
can- we can set
It's
up.
unfortunate you didn't take the time to attend that. I wish you had.
When you start appointing people to committees.
Nobody was appointed to that. Was set by
When you start
Sam
appointing the
Farr.
right people, especially like the future growth area, where everybody pays the highest taxes and property assessments as well, versus to the neighborhood you live in, that's grandfathered in, or paying very less, not their fair share. I think you can make it.
Yeah, and that's Prop 13, that's state of California. Does anyone else have anything else to do?
I
Yes,
was hoping to get possibly an ear during one of these meetings. I know I'd been withholding, there was one time where I was given an opportunity to, and I let someone else take it, but I did go back and ask for that right to one day have a meeting.
Can I get your name and number, and we're gonna make that happen. Anyone else have something to say for the mayor? Yes.
I know that things get boring and stuff like that, so let's just keep it fun. I'm really, really thankful that you're here with us. And whatever was in the past, let's just let it go, like a preschool teacher just said, let's start over, forgive, and start again. All right, because we, the people, are gonna do this right. We're under the Lord blessed with it.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. There is a rumor out there that our chief of police will be departing as chief of police. Do you know anything about that?
Well, I've heard that in a couple of years, when he retires, he was going to be departing. I hadn't heard about anything sooner. You know, you hear that, figure out where that's coming from. I'd like to talk to him because that would be information I'd love to have. Because then we have to figure out where do we go from here.
Because it makes sense about dismantling and everything. It seems like if you are going to leave, what do you care about whatever is left behind? So it seems like the moves that are being done by the department are rather suspicious.
Well,
so it seems like we're going to end up with a big homework.
Well, I think I've looked at, I didn't know anything, I knew about the dismantling plan probably about the same time you did. There's no earlier warning for me. I heard about it from the media, and I've looked at it, and there's a couple of thoughts that I had on it, having worked in that building. This will be able to provide the services on the street where people call, is one. Second of all, you know, some of these institutional assignments where people have been, we're in from 3 chiefs ago, and maybe we can now start over and maybe build a better community police department. I think there's an advantage to that, because if you know that you're going to have in your neighborhood, Jose was a policeman, that's going to be your policeman, and that's who's going to be there, versus we don't know who's going to be there, we're hiring guys on overtime. This may give us an opportunity. It's going to save us money the first 6 months, about $2 million in overtime. But I can see some ideas for Powell, I can see some ideas for Hebron that may be out there that could save $1 million, could be put back into the community. I can see some ideas, and we'll see how it all plays out. So I think if he was leaving, I'm sure he wouldn't have done this.
And then regarding Measure G monies, on one side, I hear the city saying, we have not promised, and I have heard you say, we have not promised monies to no one. Yet, the newspaper and the article where Mr. McMillan is, it says, I've been promised monies in order to restructure the youth. So
First of all,
who do you believe?
Well, first of all, it's still in the process. We haven't done the budget. That's one thing. But when we voted on that measure, one of the things was that the public asked for was more policemen. And I'm sure that everybody had their favorite list of why they voted for it. and I've gone through all those pieces of paper and looked to see what people had asked for. We had a variety of things, and it covered a huge area about what people wanted. And I'm sure that when all the directors make their pitch for the next budget, they're all gonna reach for the sky. Well, the sky is only this big. You know, it sounds like a lot of money, but by the time you divide it up among the departments to provide the services that were promised, you know, recreation programs have been promised, more money for the seniors have been promised, more money for the police department's been promised. There's been money promised from the voters. So we gotta figure out how to do that. And what we gotta remember is, this is only for 15 years. So we gotta figure out whatever we do that is somehow sustainable for the future. Because in 15 years, I probably won't be alive. You may be, you're full of the devil. I can see you hanging in there with the best. But we've gotta think about what happens in 20 years, right? That's what we really gotta do. And it'll be a big, community's still got a lot of input.
In my interpretation of Measure G, it says public safety. So I don't know, public safety to me is in the eye of the beholder. Like I have stated, you know, I want to feel safe from elder abuse. That's public safety. I want to feel safe when I walk on the sidewalks. That's to me public safety. I didn't read anything about police, you know, getting money or getting more police for more police people. That the police department right now, my understanding is that they have monies in order to hire 22 police people.
Right. 12 of those are
And they have had
great
great difficulties. They have had great difficulties in hiring someone that is bicultural and that is bilingual. Having a community that is close to 80% Hispanic, Latino, Mexicano, whatever you want to call them, how could that be possible that we are not here in order to work for this city?
Well, there's a couple of thoughts on that, and I talked to some people from other cities that are having the same difficulty that have minority communities. Young men of color have figured out that they can go to work in Silicon Valley and make $250,000 a year because they're way smarter than people have been giving them credit. They're going to college, they're going to work for these really good companies. They're driving Mercedes-Benz and they're thinking, do I want to work midnights and drive Salinas? Are you out of your mind? I had one tell me that. The kid showed me his first paycheck. I about had a heart attack.
You're talking about listen. No, I'm not talking about that.
I'm talking about the realism.
I'm talking about we have citizens in here that have a social conscience, that really want to serve the people. But I think that there is a very selective process in order to weed us out, those who want to serve our community, by those folks who have the authority to do the hiring, in my opinion.
Okay.
Now, affirmative action is nothing new to you.
No.
You know,
No, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. You gotta look at the future. That's what affirmative action is.
Again, so
Jim, just a correction with the mayor, because he said that everyone, as this whole thing came around to the district elections, the district voters.
Thank you
He said everyone, Mr. Enrique Mendez's question was asking for more police. The clarification on that is, my District 1, as well as Tony Barrero's district, didn't ask for more police. They asked for more parks, more recreation centers, more libraries, more services to the youth, and more services to the senior citizens.
I agree with the
But not
assessment
police.
that Enrique made, that public safety has a different flavor in everyone's mind. And we can certainly talk about that. I appreciate many of you who have signed it individually. If you want an individual meeting with the mayor, if I can get your name for that, and we have to conduct business
Sure.
here, so can we move on,
Right,
please?
the last one is a disclaimer, just a disclaimer. Jim, and for the mayor, just a disclaimer. Please, do not run their names, their addresses, and phone numbers through your police database.
I would never do that. I would never do
Because
that.
that is against
For
the
the,
law.
for the record in that camera, I would never do that. If you want an individual meeting with the mayor, we have to conduct
Wes.
business here. And so
Hello,
we'll
Miss
do
Mayor.
that,
Why
can't we
okay?
have a group meeting?
You can
Yeah.
also. We're gonna work with
we're
Pamela
gonna
on
work
that.
with- we're
But
supposed to
two
do
people
that.
have already told me they wanna talk to the mayor, and so I'm gonna let that happen as well.
Specifically.
Okay? But we do have to, we have a couple counters here, I've seen public, thank you, thank you.
Your fault. I like it. The spirit in the room.
So my question is basic.
Well, last question, Mayor.
I heard that. I heard you say that you guys saved about $2 million, right? Have you guys put any thought about using that for education on,
Anyone else?
on people from the east side? Basically where we come from.
Dave and as she knows, we've been working on a plan to grow people up. I guess that's a good way. Doesn't sound great, doesn't come out right, but to teach people to be understanding people of different
I know how to
cultures.
reach you though.
Yes.
Because nowadays, when you hire people, you don't know
Call your son.
You don't know what their background is, and students over 20 years haven't spent much time in the LSL. I spent a lot of time in the LSL. I have a lady, and I'm not gonna tell you where she lives, because I don't want Jose seeing her. She brings me my tamales every December from many years ago. Let me tell you what, she delivered to the police department. You know what happened? They ate them. She called me and asked me how I liked them. I didn't get them. She went over there and raised telling them brought me some. So, you know what? Because of the good people.
And you're Jim?
Yes.
Nice meeting you too. Jim also.
But
I'll remember
you're right.
that.
We're working on it. Trying to educate people.
Jelly beans from Reagan?
Guys, reach out to us.
Not too many,
I went to Sacramento yesterday, just about the water board.
No, I don't work.
Lady, fill out a card, says, oh, you're from Salinas, we'll get in touch with you.
Oh, no.
I said, oh yeah, but it was okay, I wasn't from Huntington Beach, I learned.
Thank you.
The guy had a Brooks Brothers suit. Not me.
No, my
He's
point
the best suit.
I do know it's before I.
So we'll follow up and then,
Please.
You want to send me something?
Out of town until Wednesday. I have to go and get some, beg for some money in Washington for the city, for the youth programs.
okay.
I'll be out with my hand, I'll be the best beggar to help guys.
Especially when you deal with equity and diversity, that's the way that you.
That's the way that it is. Sam will be back here, Farr will be back there, and I'm gonna go talk to HUD.
Fair enough, but it's our job
Big
just to
time.
let you know what
There's a
those
big
are,
grant,
and I
if
want
we
to make
get
sure you have the
that,
opportunity.
housing can change. That's why I'm going back, because I realize, I hate the flight. I'm flying on Mother's Day. Actually, when Mother's Day was my wife's day. I'm flying on Mother's Day, get in there at 6 o'clock, and the next morning I start at 7. My first meeting,
Well, my
I
goal is
go
to get
to
everyone
class in the morning,
encouraged,
one, I go to HUD's my first.
That's my goal.
Prayerfully, after that we meet with them,
We can talk some more
create
about the
committees,
future.
committees that you
And maybe I'll have an update on the buildings in Chinatown. I would love to have an update on that. I know Jill Allen's looking at taking over one of them. We just got to figure out how to pull it off.
Thank you, Mayor, for your time. Have
Thank you.
traveling
Thank you all.
mercies and God
Thank
bless
you.
you.
All right, thank you.
We appreciate it.
Isabel, you know how to find me.
Take that.
Thank you. Thank you, Pamela. Ricky, stay out of the rain.
Check the schedule. Make an appointment.
Get you done and move on.
He said we'll be
No,
back
it's going to be recorded too.
I'm gonna call you, we're gonna get it, we don't have to do it right now, yeah, I'm gonna get his
You
best.
got a lot of
times.
blessings
Okay?
today outside,
I need
so
all I can get.
you're very blessed.
When should she expect a phone call?
They said
She
that
will get one from me, I don't have your
Yeah,
number.
no, when should she expect the phone
She'll
call?
hear from me in 48 hours.
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell the meeting be recorded.
Jose,
Thank you.
You should have a You should have a meeting outside. Let's go right.
Yeah, let's debrief.
Yeah. Let's debrief real quick.
Screenplay blockbuster movie, and I got copyrights on High Rollers for the screenplay.
Think briefly about this.
We'll debrief.
If we ever do get back in charge.
We can debrief right here. It's a little warmer than out there.
Most all of it was done through Mayor Donahue.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
So
he was the mayor just prior to this one.
let's kind of get some thoughts on how everybody feels like it
We gotta
went.
finish so we can get on our way already. I know. Thank you for
I'll
your
babble
time.
real quick, because I'm gonna.
Quickly, before Ed leaves, you heard what he said already. Sorry about that part. Hardness. We need to get that lawsuit going against the county in support of our homeless communities, the Bill of Rights and so forth. Also, another thing I want to get before we leave. who submitted their information there, so I can just track down the names, because there is a law that if they're using police database, which has happened to us before. When people come and speak here in front of the council, see the chief taking names, and then he'll pass a paper over and they start writing those information. So I just need to know who are the names that were submitted here, and then we're gonna follow up. If they submit, yeah, because if they start doing background checks, they'll do your driver's license checks. They'll do background checks.
They'll faint when they see my record.
There's no probable cause to even do it, but if it is being done, obviously they're misusing the resources. And there has been chiefs of police and people that have misused resources that have resigned because of that as well.
The news yesterday about that?
I was on there in a minute.
It came on the news yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, for the Texas, the car.
She's a nurse still.
We stopped the other car.
Okay, we'll just keep track of that.
And then from the other car.
I also want to let people know, Mayor has an open meeting on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock.
Oh, great.
So I think that's every week, if not every week before the city council meetings.
Where?
In his office, an open meeting to the public at 2 p.m. every Tuesday or every Tuesday before a city council
And
meeting.
just prior to the city council meeting.
Almost. And it's welcome to the public.
Is that an ongoing thing?
Yes.
Why did you
Good question.
brain fart?
Okay,
Yeah.
you can put my name.
May-
By now, they
my name.
they got me already up and down.
Yeah,
My
May
record and
9th, May
everything.
9th in Pueblo, 5 o'clock.
Nothing tomorrow?
Okay.
May 9th.
Nothing tomorrow?
Okay.
No,
I thought I saw
but we're
something
starting
on
to use signs, so if anybody needs help, we just connect with Pam, myself, or any other people that is part of it, Frank, everyone else. Just
You got my
bring the kids around and we can start doing more
I
signs.
forgot.
Okay, this
So
is
what's
good.
happening, May
You
9th?
can also
We
give me
have
mine
a
if you want
March
to.
for Justice, and we're gonna get together and do a visual protest in front of Mi Pueblo Foods, corner of North Sanborn and East Alisal. And that's just the beginning of the whole.
What day was that again? I'm sorry.
This
The
Saturday,
9th. Oh.
May 9th.
I thought we were doing it Sunday, so.
We'll be there.
¿Voy al baño, quieres ir?
No, I just went.
So I,
You don't want to get arrested?
for what? This is a public. No arrest. We're in public.
Nice.
Yeah. So I do have a question. How do people feel that this experience went? Do you think it went well? Do you think we have some promise of some
getting
actual dialogue and movement toward progress?
Well, we've opened dialogue with the mayor.
Well, at least he got his face to show up, you know? Come on. Yeah, because the other way, he could have said, no. I don't have
Right.
time.
Yeah, well, he was just passing through
You know?
and then ended up a half hour
He
at
knew.
least. Yeah.
I do
Oh, yeah,
have
they
something
knew.
to say about the opening dialogue with mayor. When you open a dialogue with mayor, when you go to the meeting, you gotta be totally organized, because we used to have these open dialogue sessions before, and it wound up eventually going in the toilet. So if
Okay,
you're
we
not
need to be
very
focused with our
organized and
message.
focused, you're gonna lose it.
Yeah. Yep, and that's a fact. We did trail off a little bit, because
His
Pam
time
said,
is-
Frank and a couple others, and then we trailed off.
His time is precious, and he's gonna be looking at it that way.
Right, well, and we also need to be mindful that he doesn't overpower the conversation,
Right.
because he
Yeah.
does
Him
have
and the other
a,
guy,
yeah,
it seemed as though that they were trying to cut it short, because there
Well-
may be a little bit of stress.
that's
There's
yeah,
nobody in there
and, you know,
that wanna have business.
they did entertain us for half an hour.
Yeah,
So
well,
that
that's
was pretty good.
Hey, Jose!
But an actual, anything made progress-wise, we just chatted, you know.
Yeah.
So can I get a copy of your